we were having the argument of whether or not the Patriots downgraded from going from Wes Welker down to a Danny Amendola. Erich believes it's a major downgrade, where me and Mike actually completely disagree and think that they pretty much got the exact same player if he can stay healthy. Now, I know that's a big if. It is football. And the amount the Patriots use your slot wide receiver, that's a big if. But if the man stays healthy, I like him just as much, if not more, than Wes Welker over the next couple of years. I do.
I mean, the fact is, I feel like they got a player who is basically at the same spot of his career that Wes Welker was when the Patriots brought him on board. So, the fact is, he had Sam Bradford throw into him, so obviously his stats aren't even going to be close to where Welker's stats is. But when you think about it, he was a bad team, but Sam Bradford was also hurt half the time. So you had guys who weren't even close to what Sam Bradford was. And Sam Bradford is a C quarterback compared to the A quarterback that Tom Brady is. So, that fair?
Yeah, I just think Danny Amendola is going to get hurt. He can't play the slot. He's going to get crushed over the middle. And once he does, Tom Brady's going to lose yet another weapon. And I think it's not going to be good for him.
And it really wouldn't surprise me if some of his injuries happened while he was trying to do different things than what he was used to do. What's that?
No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were signaling something.
No, my wrist hurts, man.
Okay,
so,
cool.
We're good.
All right. Listen, I think Amendola is going to be fine. But like I also said, we disagree on that.
Chiefs released Matt Castle, by the way.
I'm surprised they didn't do that one already.
They had to wait for the trade to be official.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the Amendola thing, look, it's as simple as this. When the man
By
plays,
the way, the
he's
Niners
very good.
are hosting Nnamdi Asomugha.
Okay.
By the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Question
why trade for Darrelle Revis if you could just wait and get somebody on his level that some other team just doesn't even want anymore?
I never thought Asomugha was as good as Revis, though. To me, Asomugha.
When he was playing out in Oakland, he was. When he came to the Eagles, everything was a mess.
The second he came to the Eagles,
with
it all fell apart. So my attitude is
it
was
the Eagles and the organization because everything falls apart there.
Revis is the better player in my eyes. But my question to you guys, going back to this, the point I made before, do you guys think this dramatically improves Denver, or do you think they just improved an area
Denver's
that was already
dramatically improved from all the moves they made. I mean, they
also brought in Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie as well. I think look, you find me a team that gives you Demaryius Thomas and Eric Decker on the outside with Wes Welker in the slot, and I will show you an offense that if they don't move the ball, it's because of turnovers or bad blocking by the offensive line. There's no way any defense in the NFL, no matter how deep you are at secondary, is going to be able to cover all three guys every play. You're just not going to be able to do it. Welker is a great route runner. He's going to be able to do what Stokely did for Peyton Manning last year, but better. I look at what they did, and to me, this is simply they look at that interception Peyton Manning threw in that overtime game against Baltimore in the playoffs and say, well, if we had a good little slot guy, we'd been able to just do a quick dump off and move our way down the field. Like, it's little things like that, and I will not argue with the fact that Wes Welker is a monster. But the man is lucky enough to be able to say he's going to go from Tom Brady to Peyton Manning. Well, you poor baby.
Yeah, no, right? Well, I guess the next question would be, so you guys really don't think that maybe this is a depth move on Denver's part, that maybe next they go out and try to trade from their depth to improve a position of weakness, like maybe on that defense, maybe add something else to the secondary, maybe they take Eric Decker and a draft pick or something, and if they don't go after Revis, maybe they go after a comparable cornerback or maybe another linebacker.
I just don't think with all the signings they've done that they're going to want to go out and spend $16 million a year, and pretty much you're saying wherever Revis gets traded, the new contract's already going to be in place because nobody's trading a first-round pick. Well, that's what they're asking, and so far the Bucs have refused to give up a first-round pick.
I read that article.
But apparently they do have a deal worked out with Revis' agent that if the trade does happen, they're going to sign him for X amount of money.
Well, from what I heard is Revis, the Jets have not permitted Revis' agents to go out and discuss, look for deals with other teams. That's what I know. But from what I also heard about the Bucs, they don't want to give up a first-round draft pick this year, but they're thinking about giving up one for next year.
Yeah, but the Jets don't want that. They want it for this year, and that's mainly because Dave actually pointed out on the ride down that Tampa Bay expects to be a better team next year, so they hope that draft pick isn't as high.
I will say one thing about the Jets. We don't find a lot of reasons to say anything positive about them, but for a team that was in as much salary cap hell as they were in a couple months ago, this John Idzik guy has apparently already gotten close to $40 million in contract space off the books, and they go from being $20 million over the salary cap to about $15 to $20 million under the salary cap.
Well, look, I'll say one thing. If my team's going to suck, I'd rather than be under the salary cap than over. Let's be serious about that. And they'll get even lower because they're going to release Tebow. That's going to happen. That man is not going to be on their roster when training camp gets here. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. And if he is, then that is just a sign to you that I put in our chat room. If we're talking Jets right now, bottom line is this team's going to suck, and I think part of them ownership and the new GM sort of want to suck so they can easily get Rex out the door without any drama, any issues. Like, look, you suck. This is your third year in a row without making the playoffs. You're out of here.
But here's the question. Why didn't they just let him go this year then? Because I get what you're saying, but honestly, I don't really think there would have been any drama if they just let him go. And I was someone who, thought that maybe Rex deserved another chance, but if they're just going to let him go after the season if they sucked anyway, why delay the process? Why draw it out? Why not just get it over with now and give Idzik free reign to pick his own coach and start from scratch?
Because I don't know. I got to say they're going to try and give him the respect like Lovie Smith got in Chicago. Lovie Smith had the same situation last year. If that man didn't get them through at least one or two rounds of the playoffs, he wasn't keeping that job even if they won the division. He wouldn't have kept that job.
Yeah. I can see that, yeah. So, let's...
Oh, and for the Jets, speaking of Jets, Adam Schefter reporting that I guess Dustin Keller seems to be a done deal with signing with Miami. As far as a team that seems like they're stacking up, Miami's made some moves between Mike Wallace, Ellerby, possibly Keller. They could be making
Wheeler, another linebacker.
Yeah.
I will say, the thing about Miami is they've made some good steps in the right direction. Jake Long, their top offensive lineman, is a free agent right now. They have to re-sign him because...
last I heard, Jake Long was out in St. Louis. That was like 2 days ago, though. I haven't heard an update on him. I don't think he's
just
signed.
Visiting?
Yeah, he was just out there visiting. I know St. Louis was like
that's going to be a big loss for them if he goes, because I already thought they needed to upgrade that offensive line anyway. If they let him go, I think we've seen in the past, you can have all the talent in the world. If you can't protect the quarterback, your offense isn't really doing anything.
No, it doesn't matter how good your offense is if you can't protect your quarterback. No question about it.
They did lose Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush has signed with the Detroit Lions, which I think could work out pretty good for the Lions.
Look, if we're going to, I think the Reggie Bush signing with Detroit may turn into one of the best signings of this whole free agency period. That and the Deshaun Golston down in Tampa Bay, teaming him up with Mark Barron, I think is going to give them one of the best safety combinations in the NFL. And I know Erich loves Barron from Alabama, but that kid, you saw him last year in his rookie year. Look, he may not have won Defensive Rookie of the Year or anything like that, but that young man has a knack for playing safety in the NFL. He is meant to be an NFL safety. And to team him up with a guy like Golston is just going to make that secondary a lot better for a team that was not that good last year. And then you got to figure that they're going to either be involved with if they're looking at the Revis trade, they might be involved with it, bringing in Asamoah to talk to him as well. But I like that signing. And then the Reggie Bush signing, not saying that they're going to be just as good, because I don't think they will be. But this Detroit Lions team, if everybody stays healthy, which is always the biggest if of any year, this team's going to be close to that St. Louis team from back in the early 2000s with the Marshall Faulk and Isaac Cruz.
That's pretty good.
I'm not saying they're going to be that, the greatest show on turf. I'm not saying they're going to steal that line from them. But I do see this team being very close to that. And Pettigrew as a tight end, if that kid can actually step up his game a little bit more, if you got somebody to complement Calvin Johnson, that's a little bit better. They got 4 different wide receivers on their roster that are 6'4" or taller.
The guy the guy to look for now that Titus Young got released is Ryan Broyles in that second receiver
Yeah,
spot.
he got injured halfway through the year.
And he was having
well.
a really good year before he went down. So that's a name to watch. And you got to figure, I mean, the nice thing about Reggie Bush going to Detroit is as much as the other running backs they have been hurt, if Javid Best and Michael Ashore can do anything to complement Reggie Bush, that's a loaded backfield if ever I've seen one. And the fact is all three of them can split reps to try to keep them all on the field as much as possible. So, again, it'll boil down to how the offensive line holds up, I think.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, let's be serious. That's going to be your bottom line with any team's offense in the NFL.
But they did lose a big name on that defensive line because Craig Averill did sign a contract with Seattle.
Yes.
Yeah, Seattle.
That's great. Let's add more depth to the Seattle defensive line.
Seattle's got to be one of the favorites for the Super Bowl next year, without question.
What I think we're going to do is do a quick little break, and why don't we dive into that little arms race going on over in the NFC West. Real quick, Rashard Mendenhall also goes to Arizona.
Yeah.
Joins Bruce Arians, his ex-offensive coordinator, but plays it smart, at least in my opinion, signs only a one-year deal. Yeah. So it gives him an opportunity to show people that he's a full-time running back. Mm-hmm. And it gives Arizona the safety of knowing, well, if this guy doesn't work out, we can get rid of him.
Yeah. I mean, it's always risky when you're going from one injury-prone running back to another one, but they got a good position with him, maybe Ryan Williams coming back at running back. And you're right, it's only a one-year deal. I don't know if you guys know this, though, because it was a surprise to me when I found it out. They also brought in kick returner extraordinaire Joshua Cribbs. They've signed Drew Stanton, a quarterback, whoop-de-doo, and they added two cornerbacks in Jeremiah Bell and Gerard Powers.